everybody, and welcome to the 6th episode of Season 3 of the Coffin Corner Podcast. I'm your host, GoodNightPunk, and with me, as always, is my good friend, Richie. Richie, what's going on, dude? How was that week one?
It actually went pretty well. I won in a couple fantasy leagues, won some bets, so, not bad.
Dude, my fantasy teams look stout, except for my dynasty team. Everybody else looks great. Dynasty team is still a work in progress, and especially with my number one pick, Marvin Harrison, doing nothing, that did not help me at all. So
yeah, that's pretty rough. My biggest issue in leagues that I lost was Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. Both of them that I took in the first 5 or 6 rounds, and then they went out and scored like 3 points. So I'm not giving up on them, though. I'm like, all right, it's only week one.
I saw that Jeremy put Kelce on the trade block, and I almost just put a straight up trade Marcus Andrews for Travis Kelce to see if he'd do it.
just one underperforming tight end for another.
Yeah, just give me yours, and I'll give you mine. How's that?
Yeah, mix and match, see if it helps.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, that certainly seems like it would be an overreaction to give up on Marcus Andrews after 1 week. But what's the top 5?
Yeah, I thought a fun one for a top 5 after week one would be top 5 week one overreactions. Maybe ours or just ones we've heard. Because it seems that every year after the first week, everybody panics as if that's going to continue for the next 17. So it's always fun to try to see what people are saying on social media, the radio, everything. So I'll start us off with my number 5 overreaction. Caleb Williams is a bust. 93 passing yards? No, he'll never exceed that. He's done.
Never
for drafting him.
He'll never get triple digits.
No, he's never going to hit into 100 yards. He's terrible. What a terrible quarterback. Yeah. I mean, it's one game. Come on.
Who did they play again?
They played the Titans.
I'll say, because while that is an overreaction, not having any offense against the Titans still seems pretty bad.
Well, the funny thing was, I watched that game, obviously, because my dad's a Bears fan. They kept trying to run the ball like up the middle against Justin Simmons and the rookie T'Vondre Sweat. And I don't know if you know T'Vondre Sweat, but he's like 6'3", 370 pounds. He's a mountain of a human being. And they just kept running little DeAndre Swift into him. And then also Keenan Allen decided to drop a couple passes. So I don't put all the blame on Caleb Williams. It was a rough game. I think he'll be fine. But not a
great week for former Charger wide receivers.
No, it was not.
2 vaunted wide receivers that leave the Chargers. Just not a lot going on in week one. To see what happens there.
It was actually, and I heard like scoring and passing across the league, like the average was down.
Oh, there was no scoring really.
4 of the preseason. Like,
yeah. This is what happens.
The NFL really starts until week 2.
I was going to say, this is what happens when nobody plays in the preseason. Everyone's first game is their preseason game.
Yeah, it's bad.
Unless you're the Panthers. Then everything's a preseason game.
The soon-to-be USFL Carolina Panthers. Can we relegate them like they do in Britain for soccer? Just, you're going down now.
We're moving up Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama is now an NFL team. My number 5 is that Marvin Harrison will not thrive with Kyler Murray as a quarterback.
Yep.
That's my overreaction to week one because
Kyler can't see him.
You can't. Well, think of that last play where he was wide open for a touchdown that would have won him the game. Didn't even look at him, didn't see him, didn't throw his way at all. Instead, throws to 5'8" Greg Dortch on a fadeaway on the sideline. That just seems like a much.
Kings stick together.
Yeah. He's like, this guy's shorter than me. I should probably throw to him.
Yeah, this is my favorite target because I can see over his head.
Yeah, I can rest my chin on the top of his head.
Did you see that Kyler Murray has said that, well, it's not my job to force the ball to people?
Yes, I did see that. And I just drew Petzing's jog to get him the ball.
Yeah, it's like, well, bro, it is your job to throw to open receivers. So,
It did crack me up. I'm like, oh, so after week 1, we're already saying stupid things in the media?
Oh, God. That's why I decided to do this.
Great.
Speaking of stupid things, my number 4, Jordan Mason, is now the running back 1 in San Francisco. Christian McCaffrey, whenever he comes back, he'll split carries.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cracked me up is that in one of my leagues we have FAAB. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, free agent budget.
Yes, and we get $110 for the season. Someone used, he might even be in here, someone used $56 on Jordan Mason. Now, that made a lot more sense when I realized that Elijah Mitchell was out for the year, but
yes.
I was like, that's the third stringer. What are we doing with this money? Okay.
Does that person have Christian McCaffrey and is like desperate? Okay.
Yes. So
why didn't he draft Jordan Mason as the handcuff? That's the question.
Tesh, are you here? You want to answer us?
just curious.
Injury-prone
running back.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Who did he drop to pick up Jordan Mason? Also, I'm just curious if you know.
Hold on, I can tell you in half a second.
Not to drag this guy if he's a fan of the podcast. I feel bad. I don't even know him, but I'm just.
Let's see. He dropped Adam Thielen.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
a Panther.
That's absolutely fair.
Yeah, exactly. So my number 4 is an overreaction, but I really hope it's true because I've had him since the start of our Dynasty League, and that is J.K. Dobbins is back.
Yeah.
After 1 week, split carries with Gus Edwards, like they said. Gus Edwards had 35 yards, while J.K. Dobbins on 10 carries had 136 yards, I think. So, clear which one of the two had a better game last week. And J.K. Dobbins, if he can stay healthy, looking like he's gonna explode.
That's the sad thing about J.K. Dobbins is like, he'll probably do this for a couple weeks and then miss the rest of the year.
Well, didn't he get hurt in game 1 last year? He had 40 yards on 4 or 5 rushes and then got hurt. I know he wasn't healthy long last year, but
I think and then 2 years ago I think he got hurt in training camp. It's just
every year that I've had J.K. Dobbins on my Dynasty League, I'm like, this is the year. Now I'm even more on that. 136 yards. This is the year.
Touchdown, I think. Yeah, he had a heck of a day. Well, he gets the Panthers this week, so he should do it again. But yeah, I hope he stays healthy.
Marvin Harrison's out. J.K. Dobbins is in. That's all I know.
Bench Harrison. Drop Harrison, actually.
Just straight outright.
Just drop him.
Taxi squad.
My number 3 is that Amon-Ra St. Brown is now the second wide receiver in Detroit. And honestly, the third option after Sam Laporta. We all saw J-Mo. Looked amazing. He's going to do that all year. And Jared Goff's never going to look to Amon-Ra St. Brown again.
Yes. That totally it.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense.
I will admit that when I saw the stats and I saw the game progress, I'm like, you got paid, and in the first game after getting paid, this is what we got? But here's the thing, they didn't even throw his way, really. So it's not his fault.
Well, and this is legitimately what I saw on Twitter from somebody. J-Mo was a first-round pick. Amon-Ra was a fourth-round pick. That's how we determine who we throw to. So
that's definitely how you determine who the best players in the NFL are.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Why would they bother?
Obviously, every quarterback besides Tom Brady is better than him because he was a 6th rounder. So
yes,
or 5th rounder.
Well, no, it's only if they're on the same team, Dan. Come on.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you word. When they had Jimmy Garoppolo, he was a 2nd-round pick. Obviously, he was better than Brady at the time. That's
makes
the
sense.
Draft says all.
Got it. Makes total sense. I will say this. I'm glad J-Mo had a breakout game because this is the season he needs to break out, and that is the perfect start. So
it was a great start.
I love it. My number 3 is that the Patriots are on the way up.
Let's go.
Get the win in the first week against who was it? God, now I forget.
Bengals, man.
The Bengals, that's right.
Big upset.
Big upset against the Bengals in week 1. Joe Burrow just had no answer for that Patriots defense. Jared Mayo from under the Bill Belichick coaching tree just coached those guys up ready for the game, and they won it. Yep. In a stacked offensive game, 16-10. The Patriots are on the way up.
Oh, yeah. That
my
was entirely the Patriots being good and not Cincinnati being terrible.
I went and looked. Well, okay. I don't agree with that. I think the Patriots are decent, but Jamar Chase not playing and then getting thrown into that game, getting no stats, and then complaining after the game that he didn't get thrown to enough. I'm like, dude, maybe if you practiced once before that game, it could have gone better for you. T. Higgins was out. Like, go on, dude. Yep. But yeah, that's my reaction. That my over on my Patriots pick is already on the way there.
An overreaction on your over.
Yes, exactly.
My number 2 is the Steelers. They're going to win the AFC North. I mean, they're 1-0. They're leading the division. The Browns look terrible. The Bengals look terrible. The Ravens lost. I mean, clearly the Steelers are the best team in that division. Justin Fields going to lead them to the playoffs.
Well, first off, a bit of an overreaction, sure. Could happen, though. The craziest part to me...
shocked if the Ravens don't recover.
I'm going to be completely honest. The Ravens looked like ass on Thursday. Like, ass. So, I mean, them being on par with each other right now, in my mind, not out of the realm of possibility.
I just think the Ravens, every team looked like ass this week, basically.
True. That is we're overreacting here, okay?
Yeah. So that's why I look at the Steelers like, you know what? Maybe they'll still hit 500 like Mike Tomlin always does, but I still think the Ravens are a better team.
Yeah. They'll figure it out for sure. To go with that, before I move on to my next one, overreaction just from that division. That Isaiah Likely is now the number 1 tight end in Baltimore.
Yep, that's because Mark Andrews is an offensive lineman.
Yeah, apparently, man, that was unexpected.
Yes.
My number 2 overreaction is that Jalen Hurts is on pace for 34 fumbles and 17 lost fumbles after one game. That's not good. That's a lot of fumbles.
And we all know that that's exactly how stats work. It's every game, it's the exact same stats.
Every game,
that's why I knew Caleb Williams
stats.
is never going to throw 100 yards.
Yes,
He's going to throw 93 yards or less every game.
It's just unfortunate that such a good quarterback is going to wind up with so many fumbles.
What's up, Bray? Saying hi in the chat.
Bray, hello. Good to see you again. All right, what's your number 1?
Oh, my number 1 is clearly going to happen, and not just because he played Washington's shit defense. Baker Mayfield is going to win the MVP.
What was he either was or was close to the number 1 fantasy quarterback this week?
I think Tua still beat him, but I mean he did throw 4 touchdowns. And that's entirely on Baker. It has nothing to do with the starting corners of the Commanders being statues. So.
Dude, almost every fantasy league I took Baker Mayfield as my backup, and that's paying off right now.
I do like Baker. I mean, I'm not trying to knock Baker, but I think the idea that he's going to be MVP is a little overrated. Let's see how he does against an actual defense, and then we'll determine how good he is.
If someone can figure out how to cover Mike Evans, he might have a little more trouble than he did.
Well, I mean, Benjamin St. Juste was basically giving him like on his back, like Yoda, and still, he scored a touchdown. But the rest of them were pretty much just
carrying him
throws.
in a knapsack. Nice. All right. Well, my number one is that the Saints are Super Bowl contenders after Week 1.
Let's go.
Yeah, dude, just absolutely throttled the Carolina Panthers. What was it, 46-7 or something?
Yes, and we know that the Carolina Panthers are a great test for how good you are.
They are. Playing the Panthers is the litmus test on whether or not you're going to be good.
Yep. So let's just go ahead and crown Derek Carr right now.
What's up, Daniel? How you doing? Another Daniel. Love to see it. Glad to see you here.
Good name.
It is a good name. I approve of this name.
Well, there you go. So that was a fun overreactions, and it'll be fun to go back in a couple of weeks and look at these and see if, hey, did any of them actually come true?
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine if they do. Imagine the freaking Saints win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're like 8-0 at one point. We're like, oh man, I guess we were too soon to be sarcastic.
That would be a very interesting playoffs, to say the least.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, let's dive into the news after Week 1. A couple injury updates and everything, but we'll start off with the biggest news from the week, which was Tyreek Hill being detained by police before the game.
Okay, so I think I sent a text message in our group chat about this where I'm like, first, people don't know the difference between detained and arrested. And then 2, that I'm going to wait till the body cam comes out and we see what happens or whatever. First off, I was right about one thing. It's like he gave an attitude from the beginning, which, whatever. And the first cop he was interacting with was completely in control. Then the second one showed up and was a total monster. So I understand.
Yeah.
I understand his frustrations. I understand other people's frustrations with just just roll your window down. What's the problem? But yeah, just ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yeah, the thing that irks me about it, and I give Tyreek credit because today he came out and said, like, I could have handled that better. I could have been more respectful. And it's like, that's nice of him to admit. But it's not like he was doing anything dangerous or, things for the police to feel like they were in danger and they needed to drag this guy out of the car and put him in handcuffs. That was a massive overreaction by that one cop. It's just... It's sad. And then for Calais Campbell to come over and try to de-escalate and him to get, handcuffed too.
Handcuffed too, just for being
Smith
there?
got handcuffed, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that was so stupid.
At that point, the cop was just like, well, I'm in over my head. I might as well just go the whole distance and be a dick.
Frizz, good to see you. Doing great. Thanks for asking.
But what a fun way to start off Week 1 that was.
Yeah. Halfway through the game, some people were talking about it. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, I saw
everyone had seen it but me. I don't know.
Yeah. So. You were probably asleep still.
Maybe.
We'll dive into injury news. So Jordan Love is week to week with an MCL injury, which is good news for the Packers because I thought it was going to be a lot worse than that.
I almost put this in my overreactions because I've been saying this since it happened, but I think that fate forgot Aaron Rodgers wasn't on the Packers last year. And to make up for their screw-up of taking out Aaron Rodgers last year on the Jets, it made up for it by taking out Jordan Love in Week 1 this week. So, fate will have its way, and apparently Jordan Love is week to week.
I remember watching the knee kind of pop as it went sideways and thinking like, oh.
I thought it was gone for the year.
Yeah. But, hey, I mean, good on him. Christian McCaffrey decided to miss Week 1 30 minutes before kickoff. That was nice of the 49ers.
Great news for all you fantasy owners. I wonder how many people lost because of that. That cracks me
amazingly,
obviously, he shouldn't play if he's hurt. But
I won my matchup despite still having Christian McCaffrey in my lineup. Like, I got so lucky. That was amazing.
Damn.
But yeah, so I'm going to monitor too because they said he might miss Week 2, and I mean that dude. he's so worn out. I have to imagine that. Yeah, that's something to watch.
Someone posted something in our fantasy football thing about Achilles tendonitis, about how long that can just linger, and it's like 6 to 8 months. So we'll see what his season looks like if that is really that bad for him.
I luckily only have him in one league, but I did take Jordan Mason as a handcuff, so I'm fine. Puka Nacua out 4 weeks on IR. That sucks for anybody that has him.
Me in my dynasty.
Yes. That was my point. But hey, now you don't have to worry about having Kyron and Puka. You just have Kyron.
Yes. The problem fixed itself. Yeah.
Panthers lost their only good player, defensive tackle Derek Brown, for the season, which I just feel bad for Panthers fans at this point.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
Deshaun Watson was accused once again of sexual assault, which, I mean, okay, I don't know what to say about that at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any major commentary on that besides when do people learn?
I mean, not to crap on the guy, but it's like, how many times have people been canceled because they get accused of something? And this guy's been accused multiple times, and they're still like, "Nah, let him play." Give
over
him a bunch
30.
Yeah, like
now
give him a bunch of money, let him play. It's all fine, and it's just like, all right, guys, like maybe we should treat him like if he was an actor, he would never work again. Like,
let's just go to the football side of things. Going off what you just said, the amount of money he was given by the Browns, guaranteed, and the way he looked in Week 1. I've seen, talk about overreactions, I've seen people talking about outright releasing him, trading him if they can, just getting rid of him and that contract any way at all possible, just because he is nothing he's done in Cleveland has been worth the money that they paid him.
Yeah. I don't even think if they released him, they'd still have to pay him, I think, because it was all guaranteed. So it's like, at a certain point, they're just cutting him to get rid of him, which... Okay, I mean, yeah. And isn't their backup? Are they the ones that? No, they had Joe Flacco last year.
They had Joe Flacco, but they also have that guy from UCLA we liked that played a few games before they were like, we're going to go with Flacco.
Oh, that's right. Yes, the rookie from last year. Yeah,
I forget what his name was.
I can't remember.
Multiple last names, so it was like RDC or something.
Yeah. Justin Fields looks like he's going to start Week 2 again. Russell Wilson's still hurt. And then Dak Prescott finally signed his extension right before the game on Sunday. So he's happy. I think the only person left to get paid would be Jamar Chase, but they're not going to pay him this year.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR.
There you go, DTR. He is DTR.
Dead to rights.
More like DTF.
Oh.
Thanks. We'll move on to our Thursday night foreplay. So Week 1, we both missed it by the same bet.
By the same freaking thing.
1.5 passing touchdowns.
Bro, one more touchdown, and I finally win a Thursday night foreplay.
For a guy that usually throws 2 to 3 a game.
Yeah.
Like, that was, yeah. And for us to have 8, we do have 2 foreplays. There's 8 bets. There's one thing similar, so there's 6 other bets, and they all hit. And then the one thing that we actually had similar, that we both felt confident in, nope. Yeah. Very, very frustrating way to start the year, but we're going to do better in Week 2, aren't we?
I am.
Even though I already need to change mine.
I was going to say, yours can't win because Devonta Kane is not... Is Devonta Kane not playing? Mostert's not playing.
Yeah. I'll start. So mine was based off of what I was facing in fantasy football in multiple leagues. So I just went with, all right, I'm going to do anytime touchdowns for everybody I'm facing. Dalton Kincaid, Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, and Raheem Mostert. Anytime touchdown, all 4. And then they come out today and say Mostert won't play, and now Achane, questionable, may not play. Which, again, great for me in fantasy, but now I have to go and completely change my bet.
So I've decided to do something for the rest of the baseball season based on what you did for this bet. And I am now daily going to go put money on the Padres, Braves, and Mets to win. That way, if they win, I win money. And if they lose, I'm happy because the Diamondbacks stay in the wild card race.
Exactly. That's why when I do daily fantasy, I play people that are against me in leagues. I always bet against the Commanders. And hey, I usually win with that one.
Yeah. That way, that works.
Since I'll have to update mine.
My foreplay is that Tyreek Hill will score a touchdown. That Tyreek Hill will get over 6.5 receptions. That that's the one that'll be rough, depending on what happens. Keon Coleman, 30+ receiving yards, and Mac Hollins, 2+ receptions. So
Mac Hollins, is he on Buffalo or Miami?
He's on Buffalo, and he did very well last week.
I always think of the Raiders when I think of Mac Hollins still.
Yeah, I think it's his first season there, which was a receiver I did not even think about being there for them. But two receptions on 2 targets, 25 yards, touchdown last week. So 2 more this week.
Yeah, keep him involved. All right, well, yeah, I will. We'll have to circle back next week whenever I do update mine, which I'll probably do tomorrow. So
I would hope so. The game's tomorrow.
Yeah, well, then I'll definitely do it tomorrow.
Oh, we got a question in chat. Should I drop Schultz for Parkinson in fantasy?
I mean, my advice would be no. I mean, I like Dalton Schultz, but Colby Parkinson was involved a lot on Sunday night, and they lost Puka, so that's a tough one. I'd still say no. I know Houston has a lot of wide receivers, a lot of targets, but yeah, I still like Dalton Schultz more.
I would just go off of the history of it, because what if Parkinson gets 1 target next week, you know?
Yeah.
And don't they still have Gerald Everett? No.
No, he's in Chicago now.
Higbee is who I was thinking of, and he's hurt.
Oh, yeah, Tyler Higbee.
So, yeah. I mean, Schultz is going to stay the number 1. Once Higbee's back, Parkinson's going to see way less targets. So, I would say no. That would be
I think we both agree. Keep Dalton Schultz.
Yep.
All right, so let's dive into our Week 1 review. Just a quick one. Obviously, the Chiefs beat the Ravens because Isaiah Likely's feet are too big to fit in bounds.
That's crazy. That was a
good
game.
Close. That would have been an exciting game. I do have Mark Andrews in multiple leagues, but I'm not worried. It's 1 week. If he does this again this week, then I will start to worry.
Yeah. Like we said, Week 1's basically preseason, last week of preseason, so...
Yeah, and it looked like it.
Yeah.
Eagles beat the Packers. We talked about Jordan Love's injury. Luckily, it's not long-term for them. Saquon Barkley, man. Oof.
Yeah.
Barkley. Hey, how many Giants fans were sitting there weeping?
Hey.
Just hiccuped.
No, it was mine. But now it's
working. Was it?
Oh. All right. So, anyways... But like I was saying, Mixon, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. Last season we were talking about how halfbacks weren't getting paid despite the fact that they should be. And the same thing goes on. And look what happens when those halfbacks make it to new teams and still continue to play as good as they do. So, I don't know.
Well, the tough thing for the Giants is they chose to pay Daniel Jones and let Barkley walk. And... I mean, that seems to be the wrong choice right now.
No. Not Schmert.
Bears-Titans was an ugly game. The Bears' defense and special teams really saved them. But, yeah, that was a... You want to talk about teams like looking like it's preseason. Both of them looked like preseason teams.
We got another question.
Let's see.
Should I start Laporta or Likely?
Laporta.
Yeah, I'm assuming you just picked up Likely off the waiver wire. Laporta's one of your probably top 6 picks. I still think Laporta's the guy, but I'm also a Lions fan, so there's that. But I think that Laporta doesn't have an equal. Brock Wright is not going to take catches away from. Brock Wright's not going to take catches from Laporta. Laporta's locked in as number 1 guy, number 1 target tight end forever. Yes. Likely still has Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is the number 1 guy. Likely had a great game out of nowhere. I would say at the very least Laporta this week. Likely might creep up if he has another game like that this week. But like we were saying, week 1's like preseason last week. All the starters are actually finally playing, and they're all getting acclimated to the game. So I would wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna start Likely over somebody like Laporta based off 1 week. I think it's great to have Likely, but I wouldn't be benching him over Laporta. Plus, who the Ravens face? I think the Ravens actually have a nice matchup this week. The Lions face the Buccaneers, who have a bad secondary, even though the Commanders couldn't do anything against it. So yeah, I think Laporta's definitely fine. The Ravens face the Raiders. Yeah.
Thanks for the follow, Nelson. Appreciate it.
So another question. Let's see. Have AK-41, Walker, Connor, Dobbins, and Pollard. Damn, that's a good lineup. Have Armon Rossi, Brown, Tank Dell, lost Puka, sell Pollard for DJ Moore. No. Tony Pollard looks like he's going to be a steal this season. That he did. The offensive line for the Titans manhandled the Bears, and Tony Pollard looked like he did when he was in Dallas 2 years ago. Like he's finally healthy. I would keep Tony Pollard. Yeah. Gosh, those are good running backs. Yeah. I would probably get rid of James Conner or J.K. Dobbins. I mean, I'm a Cardinals fan. I mean, Dobbins, who knows how long he's going to stay healthy, and James Conner. I like the Cardinals. I like James Conner, but he's got Trey Benson behind him and just what seems to be a ineffective quarterback. So I would probably get rid of one of those two. I don't know about DJ Moore, though.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard because DJ Moore, I don't know what he's going to be this season so far.
Yeah, but the funny thing was, like, week one of last year, DJ Moore did terribly and then went on to finish, like, 6th at receiver. So, I mean, it was only 1 week. But
6th at receiver with Justin Fields.
Right. He's got a new quarterback. They also have a lot more weapons with Keenan Allen and Roma Dunze, so... but, yeah, obviously, if you lost Puka and you need a receiver, I would Moore's good, but yeah, I'd probably trade Connor.
Yep, I think Connor would be my pick out of those 4, simply because I think Dobbins is going to go off this season.
Yeah, and if he does, you don't want to be sitting there like, oh man, I shouldn't have traded him. Whereas I don't see James Conner going off. Like he'll be serviceable, but he's not going to blow up.
Yeah, not to mention a lot of the times with fantasy players, I think of the team as a whole. I can see the Chargers being a good team this season, pushing for a playoff. The Cardinals aren't going to be a playoff team. And on top of that, the odds are a lot of the time they're going to end up down and having to throw the ball a lot. So James Conner's worth's going to go down a lot.
Agreed. All right, I updated my foreplay so I didn't forget. So now I'm still going with the Jalen Waddle and Dalton Kincaid anytime touchdowns. And then I went with Jalen Waddle 50-plus yards, and Dalton Kincaid 40-plus yards. Oh, Jeff said I have Trey McBride, too. Oh, yeah. If you got Trey McBride and James Conner, definitely get rid of James Conner.
Yeah. And like I said, they're probably going to play from behind a lot, which means they're going to pass a lot, and Trey McBride's going to go crazy. So
yeah. Eventually, teams will just double Greg Dortch, and Kyler will have to throw to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Number 1 option, Greg Dortch.
Yes. Let's see what game we're on. Steelers-Falcons. I think the Falcons, again, Kirk Cousins didn't play at all in the preseason. Like, so it was basically his first game with that entire offense. So they did not look good. Yeah, for sure, Jeff. Thanks for the questions, man. We do this every Wednesday night. Come back and ask us some more.
Happy to help. No, I would like to say that I did call. No, maybe it might have been an injury that pushed it forward, but I did call Justin Fields being the starter for the Steelers.
You did, and he is 1-0. I mean,
not to mention he's already been named the starter for this week, despite the fact that they think Russell Wilson will be ready to play. So,
yes, and we'll see how he does against the Broncos defense.
And I think that's going to be a good thing for them. Seeing what what was done against the Broncos defense this past week, I think that'll be good for him.
Well, Justin's just more exciting than Russell Wilson is at this point in his career. Like, yeah, I think it's a good choice to go with Justin. And then if he starts to play horribly, they can always go back to Russell.
Yeah, exactly.
Jags Dolphins. Dolphins get the win in a close game. Not a lot of scoring, but Tyreek Hill, of course, did his Tyreek Hill thing.
Jags were ahead for the first half, I believe. I thought the Dolphins might lose, but they ended up coming back.
Had to kick a field goal, I think, at the end of regulation to win that game. It was very close.
Yeah, halftime was 17-7 Jags. Jags just did not score the entire second half.
That's what they do. That's like their season in a nutshell. Good for the first half, and then they go away.
Brian Thomas, though, looked good in his debut.
He did.
So many rookie receivers looked good this week, except for Marvin Harrison.
Patriots Bengals. We talked about the Patriots getting the upset over Cincinnati. Very good for Gerard Mayo. Let's see how long they can keep that going.
I was going to try to submit a Joe Burrow trade to your dad while his value was low.
I try to.
I'm like, this guy can't even beat the Patriots. So you would.
I just offer him Puka Nacua. That'd be hilarious. An injured Puka.
Injured Puka for Burrow.
For Burrow, straight up.
Yeah.
Texans Colts. Texans get the win. Anthony Richardson had a great touchdown pass. Alec Pierce, I think, caught it. Other than that, not that good. So.
Not
Vikings. What?
Nothing.
Vikings Giants. The Giants are terrible. They made Sam Darnold look amazing. I don't think he's going to be that good. I think it's like he played the Giants. It's like anybody that plays the Commanders is going to look like an MVP.
So I'm so down bad for quarterbacks in our dynasty league that since I had to put Puka on the IR, I had an empty spot, and now Sam Darnold's on my team just in case.
Maybe he's going to do it every week. We'll
Eventually, Matthew Stafford will have to have a bye week, and I'll have to put someone in. So the question now is it when that time comes, is it going to be Deshaun Watson or is it going to be Sam Darnold?
Two fantastic choices.
How can we talk about football when they are eating the pets? They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
Somebody stop Alf.
Yeah. God damn it, Alf.
Panthers Saints. We talked about it. The Saints blew them away because they're the Panthers. Cardinals Bills. That was a close one. That was a lot closer than I thought it would be. I give the Cardinals credit for being in the game, but then I take credit away for Kyler not seeing Marvin Harrison wide open.
I was going to say, they should have won this game. Like,
yes.
1,000% should have won that game. They complete their first half compared to their second half, complete fall apart. It was just that's bad.
Coaching, man. That comes down to coaching.
We got another question.
Evans and Ford for Tyreek and Brian Robinson. Oof. I like Jerome Ford though, and Mike Evans. I mean, Tyreek's Tyreek.
I was gonna say, Evans and Ford right there themselves are a lot of points. I don't know about you're the Commanders fan, so you can tell what you think Brian
I'll
Robinson's
say
going to
that
do.
I think Brian Robinson being involved in the passing game was surprising to people, but Cliff Kingsbury does like him as a receiver out of the backfield, and I think Jalen will have to check down a lot. So I think Brian Robinson is probably a serviceable flex option. The problem is Mike Evans is just so solid, and I do like Jerome Ford. I wouldn't do this. It's tempting though, because Tyreek Hill is. Yeah, but the problem with Tyreek Hill is he could get hurt and miss games or miss time during games like he always does. So it's like, yeah, he may get you 30 points this week, but then he's going to miss 3 weeks. So that's a tough one. I probably would not do that trade.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either. Yeah, only if it were a different halfback, possibly. But I think Ford's going to get you more points than Brian Robinson, at least till Nick Chubb comes back. And Mike Evans is just so good. He's going to get you points every week.
Derrick Henry's going to get you a couple short touchdowns. I mean, he may not do much. He'll probably, finish the year with 600 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Yeah.
B-Rob or London at flex this week? B-Rob. They're playing the Giants. I mean, I love the Commanders. I know how bad we are, but the Giants, this game's going to be ugly, but Brian Robinson's going to catch a bunch of passes again. They'll check down to him. He'll probably catch 5 passes for 30, 40 yards, maybe another touchdown.
Who's Atlanta playing? The Eagles? Yeah.
Yeah, I would not touch that.
I still feel like even with the Eagles' revamped secondary, they gave up a lot of passing yards last week, but between the two teams as far as who they're playing, I'd rather play the Giants than the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know Drake London didn't have a catch, or he had like 2 catches, like something really, like didn't do much. And
no one really had catches for Atlanta last week. That game surprised me compared to what I thought.
I'm pretty sure they met Kirk Cousins in the locker room. Like, it was the first time he'd been in the facility. So he needs time to either get used to the offense or eventually get benched for Michael Penix.
Yeah. You're the new guy?
Yeah. Where were we? Raiders, Chargers. We talked about J.K. Dobbins. Jim Harbaugh got a win his first game. I like the way it sucks for Justin Herbert because you could tell the Chargers are just going to run the ball, and Herbert, is probably not going to do that well in fantasy or stat-wise, and he's so freaking talented. But good on the Chargers.
I think the main thing and the more important thing is that they win. And it's not like Justin Herbert didn't have Herbert didn't have good stats. He had 144 yards, 17-26, had a touchdown. So, I mean, he had a good QBR. He did fine. And then you got Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, who are good running backs.
Yeah.
Dobbins did well. I mean, Ladd McConkey, his first game as a rookie, led the team in receiving yards and receptions. So,
let's see. We got more questions. Sell high on Kupp, or do you think he's back to his 2021 form even with Puka? I love Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't want to sell him unless you can get like a 2-for-1 deal, and you can get 2 starters for 1 if you need them. But I do love Cooper Kupp. Likely.
Yeah, it just seems like the backwards of last season, right? Where Kupp was hurt off and on all season. And Puka went off. Well, it seems like this year Puka's going to be on and off all season while Cooper continues to go off.
Well, Puka was hurt in the preseason, and then he gets hurt in week 1. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he'll be back in 4 weeks, but it's like, that worries me. Whereas Cooper Kupp, he's still Matthew Stafford's #1 target when he's on the field. I wouldn't sell him unless you can get 2 solid players in return. And then Likely or Andrews, God, I wish I knew. I have them both in a couple leagues, and I'm starting Andrews because he's still Mark Andrews, and I have to believe he's still the #1 guy. That's my belief. I can't bench him after 1 week. I got to at least see 2 or 3 weeks before I know that he's no longer the #1 tight end.
And I'm kind of screwed because I've got Andrews and my backup is Ferguson. So Ferguson getting hurt means I got to hope that
is Likely available, so I can drop Ferguson to pick up Likely.
Possibly. This is the Dynasty League.
No, Likely is on my bench.
Let's see. There you go.
I'll trade him to you.
For Deshaun Watson?
Kyron Williams. You can finally get rid of him.
Perfect. Puka.
Broncos, Seahawks. Seahawks got the win. I thought the Broncos looked pretty good. I mean, they got the 2 safeties, which was hilarious. But they played well.
Yeah, crazy how there was almost 3 safeties in the first half of that game. Like, yes. The commentators were actually hoping because they'd never seen it before.
Oh, it'd been amazing.
They're like, they were talking about the current score. They're like, you might think it's a touchdown and a field goal, but it's not.
Multiple safeties.
Yeah. No, but I will say this. I think the Broncos played really well in that game. I picked the Seahawks, and I really needed the Seahawks to win, but I thought the Broncos might actually end up winning that game. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, I was hoping for the upset. I thought they played well. I think Bo Nix is going to be solid. Let's see. RJ says my team is Stafford, JT, Bark, Cup, Debo, Kincaid. Benches B-Rob, McConkey, Burrow, Parkinson. JT and Barkley, nice. I would probably say you need a third receiver. Cup, Debo, and McConkey. I know McConkey did well, but I don't know if you trust him as a bye week or flex guy. If you could trade Cup for 2 receivers, I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah. I agree.
Drake London as well. He's got Drake London. Okay. Gosh, I probably wouldn't make a move then, honestly.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
I picked up Alan Lazard in the league simply because I needed someone that might score points because Darnell Mooney did not do anything in that first week. Maybe that's an overreaction, but what do you think of Lazard after week 1 with the Jets?
The funny thing is, I know Rodgers likes Lazard, but didn't his touchdown come from the backup, Tyrod Taylor? Or who caught that last touchdown? Was it Lazard or?
That was his second touchdown? Yeah, that was his second touchdown.
Oh. I didn't realize he caught 2. I do like Lazard. I think Rodgers likes Lazard. I mean, he's going to be involved for sure. I would rather have Lazard than Darnell Mooney.
I'll say because Garrett Wilson had 11 targets, Lazard had 9. So I mean, like, it was pretty split.
Should I try to trade Pittman and Tank Bigsby for Walker? I have London 11 and Cup. I would absolutely make that deal if you could. I like Kenneth Walker. So yeah, if you can trade Michael Pittman and Tank Bigsby for Kenneth Walker, do it. Mason Metcalf.
Yeah, do it now while Tank's. Everyone has high hopes for Tank's completely splitting carries there with ETN. Yeah. They had the same amount of carries, so if that drops this week, like let's say instead of 50-50, it's now 75-25. That trade value is completely gone. So if you can do it now.
Cup for Bijan. I have JJ and heck yeah. If you already have Justin Jefferson and AJ Brown, I would trade Cup for Bijan.
Oh,
Mason Metcalf and Ford pick 2. Well, Jerome Ford and I like DK. So those are my 2. Start Fields or Tua. That's not a question. No offense.
The Steelers are playing. Yeah. Like,
sorry.
Oh, jeez.
That was a dick response.
Calm down.
Come on, man. He's the number 1 quarterback right now. Trade Debo, B-Rob, McConkey for Rashee Rice and James Cook. No.
Yeah, no. Don't do that.
DK, Lazard, or McConkey? DK. MHA, Olave, and Dobbins in the flex. Dobbins. Especially the Panthers. Come on. Dobbins going to eat as long as he's.
Dobbins is going to go crazy this week.
Dobbins going to eat if he's on the field.
I think Dobbins was your when he
is looking ahead. Alert. Yeah.
So
do I still play Akon? I mean, you gotta. If he's active, yes.
Questions are coming in hot now.
I love it. DK or Singletary in the flex? DK. Should I start Rashee or you can get a second player in there? So I got Montgomery and Gibbs. Should I start both or trade Montgomery? Honestly, you could probably start both at this point. The Lions run the ball like crazy. But it depends on who you can get from Montgomery.
And at that point, at least you get all the points that one of those halfbacks is going to get.
Yeah.
And the two of them
Kincaid
combined.
Likely, I'd still go with Kincaid. I can't trust Likely after 1 week. Stafford and Prescott week 2. Stafford's playing the Cardinals. Who's Dallas playing? I forget.
Dallas is playing the Saints. Super Bowl contending Saints.
I'd go with Stafford in a rebound game against the Cardinals.
I don't know. That's tough. Only because Stafford has his offensive line is going to have at least 2 to 3 practice squad starters this week.
Which is what the Cardinals have on the defensive line to begin with.
You're right. So it just depends on whose practice squad linemen are better.
Yeah. I still think Stafford definitely bounces back. Okay, let's finish up our review. Cowboys, Browns. Cowboys destroyed the Browns. They look like crap. Commanders, Bucks. Commanders look like crap. Baker Mayfield looks like an MVP. Rams, Lions. Good matchup. Lions get the win. Jets, 49ers. Obviously, we talked about Christian McCaffrey. 49ers get the win. Jets did not impress me. I still believe in the Jets as a playoff team, but they did not look that good.
Going back to the Lions game.
Rice. I think Garrett Wilson over Rasheed Rice. I also got Brian Robinson. Should I go Montgomery or Robinson? Montgomery. I just think the Lions, you can play with both. I mean, I think Robinson's going to catch a couple passes this week against the Giants, but the Lions love to run the ball.
I was about to say, going back to the Lions game, I just wanted to talk about the overtime real quick and just how ridiculous David Montgomery was in the overtime. One drive, David Montgomery took the entire drive and just shoved the ball down the Rams' throat all the way to the end zone. David Montgomery is crazy.
Have Ravens D, Jets D is on waiver. Should I pick them up? No. I wouldn't.
Not if you have the Ravens.
Yeah, they get to play the Browns and Steelers and Bengals for 6 games this year. Tua, Hall, Mason, Higgins, Nico, Ferguson, Aaron Jones, Rashad Wright, 80 Mitchell, Bucky on bench. Thoughts? I like that team.
You might need to. Do you have a backup tight end? Because Ferguson's probably not playing this week.
Neighbors or Waddle? Neighbors against the Commanders all day.
Ryan's own game is crazy. I'd start either of those guys. Yeah, exactly. There are
Mondre, MHJ, or Olave. Ooh, Olave is going to be in a shootout against the Cowboys, so I'd probably say Olave. Trade CMC and JSN for Derrick Henry, Rashad Wright, and AJ Brown. Yes, CMC may not play for weeks. I would definitely do that deal. If Kenneth Walker's just out, should I put in Connor? Yes, unless you have somebody better. Yo, what's up, A-Ruff? Thanks for the shout out. Ramondre, I already answered that one. Start Brown or Debo. I would say AJ Brown. Nico or Neighbors. Neighbors is my fantasy receiver this week.
Nice.
Which we'll get to. There's so many questions. I love it, though. We appreciate it, guys. Follow us back. Check it out. We love it. We do this every Wednesday. All right. So you want to dive into our picks for this week?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll try to keep up with the questions.
Who is Bowser? Oh, Bowers. I was like, there's a tight end named Bowser?
I definitely put in King Koopa if you can.
Yeah, I would definitely put in Bowers, by the way, because he has a good matchup this week, and I think he might be on my fantasy pick for this week.
Tyler or Daniel?
Not quite.
Daniel Jones. He's actually my fantasy quarterback for this week against our shit secondary. Jordan, Mason, or Achan. I would probably put Jordan Mason in. You know he's going to play week 2. Achan's still up in the air, and Jordan Mason looked like a beast. I think he'll do it again. Okay. Keep getting
distracted. All right. Let's do it. We'll come back to the questions.
Okay, so week 1, you finished 13-3. I finished 13-4. The reason is because I got one more wrong. So technically I was 12-4, but I got my bonus. So we're starting out with the same amount of wins. Last question, would you do Jaden or Baker? I honestly want to say Jaden. I think the Giants' defense is also as bad. That could really turn into a shootout between 2 terrible defenses.
Yeah, and Baker's playing the Lions defense.
And I'm willing to add Jaden Reed and an RB1. Yeah. I don't know about Jaden Reed. He's going to have Malik Willis for a couple weeks. ETN, I think, is going to be fine. Ayuk's good. I would keep both those players, man. I mean, unless you can get a really good running back. Isaiah Likely or Travis Kelce? Kelce. I can't trust Likely after one week. Thanks for the rose, Paul Kizzy. Tight end replacement: Hurst, Kraft, Auden, or Akins. I love Hayden Hurst. I mean, the Chargers run a lot, but Greg Roman's offense throws to the tight end. That's what he did in Baltimore. So I like Hayden Hurst personally. Olave or Singletary at flex? Olave. Shootout between the Saints and Cowboys.
How do you see the Lions doing this week? Lions and Bucks. I didn't really look at the schedule too much. I'm a Lions fan, by the way. I didn't look at the schedule too much before the season started, so I was kind of surprised to see 2 playoff matchups in a row. But the Lions have only gotten better, so I would say I see the Lions doing well. I think that even though it was hard to beat the Rams, I think it's going to be harder to beat the Bucks because they actually have a line that's not made out of practice squad guys, so that's going to make it even tougher on Aiden Hutchinson. But I think they'll wind up winning. I think it'll be a high-scoring game.
Adams or Flowers? Brady, I'd go with Devontae Adams. I know he underperformed in week 1, but if you watched Receiver on Netflix, when Devontae Adams doesn't get the ball, he complains until he does. So I think he'll get the ball this week.
Paul Kizzy, thanks again.
Should I start E10 over Jordan Mason or Kyron Williams? Let's see the 49ers play. Vikings? No. I would start Jordan Mason. I would start Kyron Williams over ETN too. I like ETN, but I think Jordan Mason's... It's Kyle Shannon's offense that runs so well, and Jordan Mason fits it, and then Kyron's Kyron, and the Cardinals are the Cardinals. So yeah, I would.
Cardinals gonna Cardinal. That's for
Cardinal
sure.
Gonna Cardinal.
All right, let's get these. Let's get the previews out of the way.
I want to answer these questions. Sorry,
it's fine. Man. Well, let's get the
Pitts for Kincaid. No way, man. Kyle Pitts is caught a touchdown. Kyle Pitts finally has a quarterback. I would keep Kyle Pitts.
No, that's very true.
Hurts or Richardson? Man, you have them both. That's awesome. I would probably go with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, how is it a 2-quarterback league? Not, if it was, you wouldn't be asking that question, but I don't know how you got those 2 with your draft picks. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good draft right there.
Is it by chance a 4-person league?
Joe or Kyler Murray? I go with Burrow to bounce back. Kyler can't see his receivers other than Greg Dortch. Love or Baker if he plays. Love's not playing, so Baker. 8-person. All right, that makes sense. Still good. I mean, Anthony Richardson is a top 8 quarterback usually in drafts, so it's just get them both.
Yeah, to get both those, that's pretty good.
J.K. Dobbins or Aaron Jones? Dobbins. I'm calling the Dobbins against the Panthers. Likely or Andrews? I'm still going with Andrews as as number 1 tight end. I need more than 1 week. To be honest, it was tough trying to watch Kirk throw the ball with limited movement. Yeah, it was. I wonder how long until Michael Penix starts for Atlanta. That'd be a tough one.
Yeah, that's just...
Mike
You're going to start to wonder if that Penix pick was actually something they knew that no one else did, and everyone's been talking about this whole time.
True. I think we mentioned that on the podcast, actually, is why they sat him down the preseason was because Kirk wasn't healthy. Mm-hmm. Mike Williams or Robinson from the Rams? Robinson. With Puka out, I think Robinson. Is Eckler worth keeping? Not in my opinion, unless you literally have no one else. Should I accept? I got Derrick Henry and Garrett Wilson. He got Gibbs and Jordan Reed. Yeah, actually, I'd probably take that. I'd like Jahmyr Gibbs and Jaden Reed. MHJ or Rice? Rice.
MHJ.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, some of these acronyms
or Burrow.
Lost on.
How does the quarterback situation affect Bijan's situation? It's going to, because if Kirk can't move, they're just going to stuff the box, and Bijan's not going to have any running room, which sucks. I still like Bijan, though.
Just hope you're in a reception league, a PPR league.
I'd probably
because at that point, he's going to be catching the ball more.
Yeah. Exactly. I have Brian Thomas Jr., George Pickens, DK Metcalf, Tank Dillon, and Devontae Adams pick the starting. I'm assuming you have 2 and a flex. I'd go with DK, Devontae Adams, and George Pickens, probably.
I would definitely go Pickens. So let's get the picks out of the way and get to the fantasy part of the end of the podcast, because
I want to answer everybody's questions. I'm glad that you're asking them, but I know we got
to do it. We got to do it.
Yeah,
we will answer your questions. We'll come right back. We're just going to get through our picks for this week, and then we'll answer your questions. That way, we can talk about our fantasy picks, because a lot of our fantasy picks go straight into the questions you're asking.
Very true.
So,
all right, so Bills at Dolphins. Dolphins by 2.5.
Okay, so he's Bills at Dolphins by 2.5. I'll take the Dolphins in that game. Actually, yeah, I'll take the Dolphins.
All right, you're on Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Bills. I think the Dolphins, they're already missing Mostert. If Achane doesn't play, it's going to be rough for them to lean on Jeff Wilson and Jalen Wright. So I'll go with the Bills.
I still think they're looking for a number one wide receiver, because they didn't really have great stats against the Cardinals.
The ball around.
Yeah.
Hey, he threw 2 and ran for 2. He can do that again. Saints at Cowboys. Cowboys by 6.5.
Saints at Cowboys. Cowboys? The Cowboys? I got the Cowboys. I don't think the Saints aren't playing the Panthers this week. They're not going to do what they did last week. And if you're thinking of starting any Saints this week against the Cowboys defense, you probably should think twice on that.
Yeah, Cowboys, I mean, it'll be a real test for the Saints if they're legit after playing the Panthers or not, but I'm going with the Cowboys as well. Bucks at Lions. Lions by 7.
7? Okay, well, I'll take the Bucks on the spread, but I'll still take the Lions to win. How's that?
All right, I'm taking the Lions as well. I think the Bucks defense, especially their secondary, is banged up. The Commanders couldn't take advantage of it, but the Lions will.
Yep.
Browns at Jags. Jags by 3.5.
Browns at Jags. Jags by 3.5. Yeah, I'll take the Jags. Jags actually looked like they were going to win that game last week. Meanwhile, the Browns never looked like they were going to win. It looked like they weren't going to score at all last week.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going to look better than they did against the Cowboys, but I think the Jags, they look very good against Miami. I think they'll win. Both going Jags. 49ers at Vikings. 49ers by 6.5.
I'm going to pick the 49ers to quiet the Vikings. Sam Darnold is legit talk.
The Sam Darnold MVP talk?
Yeah.
Same, 49ers. It was a lot easier than last week. A lot more, bigger spreads.
Big spreads, yeah.
Chargers at Panthers. Chargers by 6.5.
I'll take the Chargers. You didn't write in Chargers that time?
Well, I was hoping you'd go with the Panthers.
Yeah, exactly.
Call the upset. Raiders at Ravens. Ravens by 9.5.
Ravens.
Are we going to have any different this week?
That's Seahawks, the question.
Seahawks at Patriots. Seahawks by 3.5.
You know what? We'll go different on this one. I'm going to take the Patriots at home to beat the Sea Chickens.
They are your favorite underdog team this year. I love it.
Guys, we're about halfway. We'll answer this next one and answer a few of your questions. How's that?
All right. Colts at Packers. Colts by 3.5.
Colts at Packers with Malik Willis. I'm taking the Colts.
Yeah, me too. Come on. And I did take the Seahawks, by the way. So at least we have one difference so far.
Yeah.
All right. Let's dive in and answer some questions. James Cook or Dobbins? Dobbins. Nico Collins, DeMarcus Robinson. Nico. Who should I start? Kamara, Mason, Achane. You can only start one. I would go with Alvin Kamara. I don't know if Achane plays, and I like Kamara.
James Cook or Dobbins?
McLaurin at the flex. Montgomery. Dobbins by far.
Yep, I think Dobbins is going to go crazy this week. If they're playing the Panthers.
Start 2, Rashid, Godwin, Ayuk, K9. Wide receiver 2, not flex. Definitely Ayuk. And probably Rashid. I like Godwin, but he's not playing the Commanders every week. So.
Who is K9?
I'm not sure. I don't know everybody's nicknames.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm not sure who K9 is.
I've heard that one before, but I can't think of who it is. But yeah. Rashad White and Devonta Smith for Jonathan Taylor, Zay Jones, T. Higgins / McConkey.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would take T. Higgins over McConkey.
Yo, if you were able to get
Kenneth Walker, duh. Yeah.
Okay.
Gosh, that changes things, actually. I would probably go with Ayuk and Kenneth Walker then. Thanks, Mike, for clearing that up.
Yep.
Achane or Pollard? Pollard. Even if Achane plays, I go with Pollard. Waddle or DK? Waddle. Do I start Christian Kirk or Khalil Shakir? I feel like Christian Kirk's gonna bounce back, but I like Khalil Shakir. He caught a touchdown last week. I'd probably go with Shakir. I think in his career, Josh Allen has like 36 touchdowns against the Dolphins. Like, he always throws touchdowns against Miami.
Yeah. Kirk's playing the Browns, and despite the fact that they sucked last week, so did the team that they played, because the Browns' defense is that good.
Yeah, for sure. Calvin Ridley or Brandon Cooks? I'd probably go with Brandon Cooks against the Saints. Rate my team: Tua, CMC, Breece Hall, Drake London, Shaheed, James Conner, Ingram, 12-man. Dang.
The wide receiver room is a little lacking there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not bad players, but compared to like the names of the other spots, you must have gone heavy quarterback, running back at the top of your draft, and then gone to receiver.
Yeah. I like every other position except receiver, so I'm going to give you a B-.
Yeah.
Trade Amon and Najee to get... Oops, it scrolled. Trade Jerome Ford and D-Hop for Nico? No. I would keep Jerome Ford.
Alberto, we just covered that, actually. Pats versus Seahawks this week. I picked the Pats at home, and Richie picked the Seahawks.
CMC for JT, DJ Moore, and Pollard? Hell yeah. If you can get that deal, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Those three just for CMC?
Yeah. Trade Amon and Najee to get DK and Jonathan Taylor. Yes, because I love Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I don't believe in Najee Harris, and you're getting DK Metcalf and Jonathan Taylor, who are two starters. I would do that. So I trade Kenneth Walker for Evans, only if you desperately need receivers. Otherwise, I'd keep Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, questions like that where it's like a halfback for a wide receiver are really tough to answer unless you know what you have on the other spots.
Right.
But I will say this: Mike Evans is like top 5 wide receiver.
Mike Evans is so
and
solid.
Kenneth Walker's top 15.
Yeah, Mike Evans is always solid. Like he's just
1,000-yard receiver every year he's played.
Yeah, but finding a running back is so much harder. So like, unless Kenneth Walker's your 3rd or 4th running back, I wouldn't want to give him up.
Yeah.
Andrews over likely at least for another week. Pick 2, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, Pollard. I'd go with Josh Jacobs and Pollard. They're going to run the ball a lot in Green Bay with Malik Willis at quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
Start 2, Diggs, MJF, DJ Moore. I would go with Diggs and MHJ. I think they're going to get the ball to Marvin Harrison, like especially after all the talk about it.
Yep.
London or Olave in a shootout. Jags or Browns. Jags. Jags looked good against Miami. Browns looked crap. Pacheco or Achan. Pacheco. I don't know if Achan plays. I say his name differently every single time.
Last year it was Pachinko.
Pachinko.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Pachinko, which is what you called him all last year.
My favorite game. All right, let's keep going with picks. Jets at Titans. Jets by 3.5.
Jets at the Titans were so bad last week. Did you see that picture of Will Levis on the ground with his hands behind his head on his knees after he threw that pick 6?
That was a terrible pick 6.
Oh, so
Puka
bad.
Cup. Puka's on IR, so Cup.
Yeah. Jets. I'll take the Jets.
Jets. Yep. I do hope the Titans win because it'd be funny. But I think the Jets will bounce back fine. Giants and Commanders. Commanders favored by 1.5.
Ooh. Well, geez, this is compared to all the rest of them. They're easy picks. Well, except maybe the Patriots, Seahawks. This one's rough. And every time I pick the Commanders and you don't, I lose. So I'm just going to pick the Giants.
Good. I'm also picking the Giants. I realize the Commanders could very well win this game, but the team that I saw playing on Sunday against the Bucks looked like they're going to go 0-17. So until they prove me wrong, I'm not picking them.
Hey, beat the Lions record. That's fine by me.
Hey, honestly, I'm not even joking when I say this. I hope they finish with 1 or 2 pick overall, because there are teams that will need quarterbacks, and we can trade our pick for multiple picks or players and like speed up our rebuild a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, Rams at Cardinals. Cardinals are actually favored by 1.5.
That's because of that makeshift line that Stafford has. Cardinals don't win at home, so give me the Rams.
Agreed. Yeah. Sorry, Cardinals. I love you, but yeah.
There's a lot of people asking start Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray. Kyler's playing the Rams defense and Baker's playing the Lions defense. While the Lions defense is good, teams that play the Lions always score a bunch of points while the Lions score a bunch of points. So I would probably say Baker.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I think Baker probably is going to have to throw a lot in this game. But Kyler should look better. I'd probably go Baker too, honestly. I think the Lions-Bucks game the Bucks are going to have to throw a lot, so that should be a fun game. Bengals at Chiefs by 5.5.
I mean, until the Bengals show that they can actually win, I'm going to have to take the Chiefs. The Bengals lost to the Patriots in week 1. Come on.
They did. And I like the Bengals. I think they'll be okay, but not this week. not against the Chiefs. You got it, Breeze. Steelers at Broncos. Steelers by 3.
Steelers at Broncos, and they got the Steelers by 3. I'll take the Steelers. I think they played well, and I think George Pickens is going to go crazy.
I'm going to go with the Steelers as well. This is another tough one, but I think they'll win. I like Bo Nix. I like the Broncos, but Mike Tomlin, man, good coach. Do you think Burrow bounces back this week? Not this week. Not against the Chiefs.
Not against the Chiefs. I think he'll have a better game than he had last week. It's hard not to, but I don't think they'll win, if that's what you're asking.
As far as stat-wise, they're gonna have to throw, so he should theoretically have better stats. So I mean, I'd still be starting him, but they're not gonna beat the Chiefs.
And T. Higgins is still out, as far as I'm aware.
Yes, he's sitting out because he doesn't want to play for them. Bears at Texans. Texans by 6.5.
Sorry, phone. Bears at Texans. Texans. I'll take Texans. The Bears just could not get any offense going. So unless they can figure out a way to intercept the hard to intercept C.J. Stroud, they're not going to do what they did last week.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the offense looks better, but it's still not going to be able to keep up with the Texans.
No.
Last one, Falcons at Eagles. Eagles by 6.5.
Eagles versus Falcons. I'll take the Eagles, and I'll be watching the Falcons just to see. I would take the spread on that one, only because of I want to see the Eagles, Kirk Cousins, actually do something before I pick them on anything.
Yes. I'm also taking the Eagles. Yeah. So it looks like we only have one separate. Patriots Seahawks is the only difference we have. Oh, no. Dolphins Bills. So 2. All right. Nope. Good. And then for our bonus, let's see here.
You can give... Oh, no, the spread's going to be huge on that game. Never mind.
I'm taking the 49ers over the Vikings. I don't know why the 49ers aren't only favored by 6.5.
I was about to say, I'm taking the Chargers because I just noticed theirs isn't 7. And squeaking just under the rule of bonuses, I'll take the Chargers over the Panthers.
It still counts. So, yeah.
Still got it.
49ers and Chargers. All right. No more questions. It looks like everybody's left the chat. That's all right. So let's dive.
We're doing the fantasy section now. Fantasy sleepers are now. Now's where all those questions can go in.
Everybody was early. That's all right. Thank you for the interactions. We love it. We hope everybody comes back next week and tell us how wrong we were.
Yeah. Let us know if we stirred you in the wrong direction there. Steered.
If we stirred you wrong.
Stirred you in the wrong direction. All
right. So last week in
I don't want to talk about it.
I want to talk about it because I knocked it out of the damn park.
Well, I should never do these. That's apparently
the... Quarterback, Tua was my pick. He was ranked 23rd and finished 9th. Don't know why he was ranked so low in the first place. You picked Justin Herbert against the Raiders. He was ranked 18th, finished 25th.
Fun fact, I picked him again.
Hey, why not? Well, I think I picked J.K. Dobbins again because I picked him last week when he was ranked 29th and he finished 3rd. Boom. Ewan with Austin Eckler is ranked 25th, finished 32nd because Brian Robinson stole all of his catches. Mike Evans was my receiver. He was ranked 15th. I called him to have 2 touchdowns. He finished 8th and caught 2 touchdowns. So, and I even bet that too.
I would say you bet it too, right?
Yes, I bet that and won some good money.
Good
Ditka versus
money.
the Bills. Oof, I'd have to go with Ditka. Sausage.
Mike Ditka.
Should I start Myers, Lazard, or Wan'Dale Robinson? I would probably go with Lazard.
Yeah,
although
I think
Wan'Dale
Lazard
Robinson against the Commanders is not a bad little sneak play.
I'd take Lazard. I think that 9 targets last week was not a fluke. All right, so I had DJ Moore and he sucked somehow. Good job, Bears offense. Tight end. Did you lose your headphones or what? Hello, sir? All right, well, for tight ends, Richie had Hayden Hurst versus Vegas, who was the 25th ranked tight end. They finished 20th, so still not inside the top 20, but he did manage to get 5 ranks higher than he was predicted, which is a win in our book.
I'm just going to interrupt you to tell you my headset died, so I can't hear a word you're saying, so you'll have to go ahead and finish this up. Sorry.
All right, well, I'm going to finish it up with our Week 2 fantasy sleepers while Richie stands there not able to hear me and having a great time. Start Swift or Worthy. I'm not a huge Worthy fan. But also I'm not a big Bears offense fan. So with what Worthy did last week and what the Bears did last week, I'd probably go with Worthy just because I think Worthy showed something last week. Let's see. For fantasy sleepers this week at QB, Richie has Daniel Jones versus his team Washington because for whatever reason, everyone that plays Washington has big weeks. He's ranked the 18th quarterback, so Daniel Jones... look for him to have a big week. My Week 2 quarterback is also my Week 1 quarterback, who did not do well, is my fantasy pick. But Justin Herbert is playing the Carolina Panthers, so he should be way better. He's 22nd ranked QB this week. Look for him to at least sneak into the top 10 against Carolina. And at running back, Richie has J.K. Dobbins also versus Carolina. We do not think highly of Carolina here. Obviously, he's the 23rd ranked running back after 136 yards and a touchdown last week. Look for him to way outperform the ranking they have for him there. I also have Tony Pollard versus the Jets. He's the 27th ranked running back, but the Jets gave up a lot of rushing yards last week, and Tony Pollard is a very good running back. So I have him as my running back. At wide receiver, Richie has Malik Neighbors versus his Commanders. Surprise. Daniel Jones as his quarterback, throwing to Malik Neighbors versus the Commanders. 28th ranked wide receiver. Should get over 100 yards. That's Richie's call for this week. And my call on the wide receiver this week is George Pickens against Denver. Denver gave up a lot of passing yards last week. George Pickens had a good week with Justin Fields throwing to him. So I think that as the 30th ranked receiver, George Pickens is going to have a good week. Way better than 30th at the very least. And sitting in for tight end, earlier someone was asking about Dalton Schultz. That is Richie's tight end pick for this week, Dalton Schultz versus Chicago. He's the 13th ranked tight end. Look for him to move up in at least the top 10 there. And I have Juwan Johnson of the I hate picking tight ends. So I went for something low. The ranked 19th tight end, Juwan Johnson, had a great game for the Saints. Playing Dallas this week. Could be a terrible pick. Dallas Stevens is very good, but Juwan Johnson was a favorite target of Derek Carr last week, so looking for at least fantasy sleeper pick win by taking Juwan Johnson against Dallas this week. Even if he moves up to 15, we'll call that a win, so I will take that.
I had to plug it in, but I can hear you now.
All right, that's good. Well, I just covered them all. We got all those in.
Oh, good.
All is well. So,
did you see I called 100 yards from Malik Neighbors?
I did. I pointed out the fact that Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors combined this week should have a good week. You called 100 yards from him, which also puts 100 on
until I miss one.
Daniel Jones.
I'm calling a bet from one of my fantasy sleepers.
I like it.
I bet that too.
Perfect. Well, that is going to do it for us this week for the podcast, for the live stream. Man, what a good time this was. A lot of people here, a lot of questions about fantasy. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thank you all, everyone that asked questions. Hope you guys followed. Hope you come back next week. Tell us what we got right, what we got wrong. Ask more questions. Chat football with us. We're here every Wednesday. Maybe we need to do it earlier every week. Maybe people are more active at 5:30.
East Coasters are not asleep, so
yeah, that's true.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for everybody that was here on the live stream. If you weren't on the live stream and you're listening to the podcast wherever you find your podcasts, because that is where you will find the Coffin Corner Podcast. If you want to get in on the questions that we will answer as they come in, you can find us on TikTok at Coffin Corner Podcast, and that is where we are live every Wednesday. If you want to see a replay of this podcast, you didn't catch your question being answered, or you just want to hear all the other things that were said, you can go to youtube.com/@CoffinCorner. That is where we upload the live stream every week. You can see the replay there. As well, you can follow us on Twitter at Coffin Corner. Coffin Corners on Twitter. So, yeah. Until then, I appreciate everybody. Richie, you got anything you want to say before we blast out of here?
No, just, thanks everybody that asked questions and stopped in. Give us a follow. Check us out next Wednesday. Follow us on Twitter. We usually tweet on Sundays during the games. Good luck to everybody in fantasy football this week.
Hector's got one more question for us right here at the end.
Parkinson or Freiermuth? I kind of like Kobe Parkinson this week with Puka out.
Yep. Higbee's out. Puka's out. Gonna have more targets for Parkinson.
Yeah, definitely. So, I like that.
Awesome. Well, until next week, guys, we appreciate you guys, and we'll be back next week, next Wednesday, for the Week 2 recap and the Week 3 preview. Until then, you guys have a great day. Actually, good luck to your teams, unless they're playing mine.
There it is. There's the sign-off.